In this video, let us learn one-to-many relationship. In Spring Boot, a one-to-many relationship is the context of JPA and Hibernate. Signifies that one instance of an entity can be associated with multiple instances of another entity. This is a common relational database concept, often implemented using foreign keys. So, first step, we will create a project now. Start .spring.io. We will open the Spring initializer. Now the project we need to select Maven. The language is Java. And the Spring Boot version currently we are selecting as a 3.5.6. Now the group ID we are providing com.gentech. And artifact we need to provide Spring hyphen one to many. So now we need to provide a package as demo. So we need to select a jar and the packaging as a jar, and Java version we have selected as a 21. Currently in our machine we have installed JDK 21. So now we need to add the dependency. The first dependency, since we are using MySQL driver, MySQL database, so we need to select the database as the driver as MySQL driver. And another dependency we need to install Spring Data JPA. So once after selecting these two dependencies, now we need to click on generate. So we need to generate the project now. The project is generated in the form of zip file. Now copy this particular zip file. Now go to the C drive, Spring Boot, application. There we need to paste this particular project. Once after pasting this particular project, now right click and do extract. So to avoid nested folder, we should remove the name of the folder and click on extract. So it has extracted the project from the zip file. Now we can delete the zip file. Now we will try to open the same project in a IntelliJ IDE. So now we can open the IntelliJ. And just click on File, Open. Go to C drive, Spring Boot application. So there we need to select Spring one to many. This is the project we need to open. So this window, click on this window and trust this project. So now it was resolving the Maven dependencies. Yes, once after it is resolving the Maven dependencies, now go to src main and resources. We need to update our MySQL driver path. So URL and password we should include the MySQL. The first one called spring dot data source dot URL is equal to JDBC colon MySQL colon localhost colon 3306. It is the port number of MySQL. Now we need to provide the database name. So in order to provide the database name, open MySQL driver, MySQL workbench. So provide the username, password as a root. So here we need to provide create database one to many. So this is the database name. Yes, it has created the database. Refresh. Yes, we can able to see one to many database. Now we can use one to many. So the same database name we should use it here under URL. So now spring dot data source dot username. So this is root. So again second one password we need to provide. Root. Now we need to provide hibernate properties. That is spring dot JPA dot hibernate dot DDL hyphen auto. That we need to provide update. So next one hibernate property spring dot JPA dot show hyphen SQL is equal to we need to provide true. So save our application.property file. So now we need to go to our package. The package is com.gentech.demo. There right click and first we need to create a package. The package name is entity. So before adding the entity classes, first we need to discuss. So we need to go for one-to-many relationship. So one entity can have multiple instances of another entity. So it indicates one instance of an entity can be associated with multiple instances of another entity. Here we can make it as a which one means customer versus project. So one customer can have a multiple project. So one customer can have a multiple project, or we can say one post can have a multiple comment. So one department can have multiple employee. That is nothing but a one-to-many relationship. So in this example, we will take customer and as well as project. So now we can go to entity class. We need to create a class name as a customer. So with respect to customer, first we need to provide at the rate. This is the entity. We need to make it. And next one table. The name of the table, we can make it as a table underscore customers. So now we need to provide at the rate ID, at the rate primary key generation, generated value, strategy is equal to generation type dot identity. The first one we need to specify private integer ID. Next one called private string cname, customer name, and private string description. We should provide that is the date created at, and again we need to provide date updated at. So this particular date we should import from java.util. We can import from java.sql. If we can import from java.sql, we can get only the date format only. We never get timestamp. So in order to get a date with the time, so we need to select data java.util package. So now you need to provide the user defined column name. Column name for, see, currently if you didn't specify the column name, by default it takes the field name as the variable name as a column name only. So in order to modify the column name as per the table point of view, MySQL table point of view, so we need to provide a column name is equal to customer underscore ID. The same thing we need to use for customer underscore name, that is because this is for customer name. The same thing for which one? Customer underscore description. And this is for customer underscore created underscore at. Here this one customer underscore updated underscore at. So since we need to generate the created date, so at that further purpose we need to use creation timestamp. So for the updated, we need to use an annotation update timestamp. So we have developed one particular entity called customer. So it is incomplete because we need to provide the relationship. For that purpose, first we need the second step, we need to create a project also. Project @entity, and the table we should provide the name as tbl_projects. So we need to provide first one, private integer id and private string project name and private string description. So again we can provide the created at date, updated at. So date we should import from which one? Java.util. Java.util, and we need to modify the column name. Before modify the column name, the primary key generation we need to provide @generated value strategy generation type dot identity. So we need to modify the column name here. So for table point of view, so @column, because what are the column name you are providing, the same column it will be populated in the table. So otherwise it takes the same variable name as the column name only. So there is nothing but which one? The project ID, project_ID. We need to select one more card, project_name. So another one, project_description. So we need to provide project_created at. Here project_update_at. So for created date, so we need to provide an annotation creation timestamp. For updated we need to provide update timestamp we need to provide. So once after providing this one, again go to customer. Here, since it is a one-to-many relationship, one customer can have a multiple project. For that purpose, first we need to define @one-to-many. So first we need to provide cascade. So cascade type all we need to provide. So cascade type all cascade means if we can do action on one entity, the same thing it will be applied on another entity. So @join column. Join column name is equal to, I just provide customer_project_id. This is a foreign key. So this is the foreign key. This is referenced. Referenced column name which one? We need to provide a column name as customer ID. Customer ID is the primary key. So customer ID is the primary key and customer_project_id is the foreign key. So now we need to provide. So one customer can have a multiple project. So list of project, or you can use list or set, anything you can able to use it. List of set projects is equal to new array list of. So we need to import the list from the which one? Java.util. Yes, the error got resolved. Java.util only we are imported list. So now we need to provide a getter and setter now. So what kind of relationship it is? So cascade type all, one-to-many. The join column customer_project_id is the foreign key. It is referenced by which one? It is referenced to column name is customer ID. Customer ID is the primary key and this is the foreign key only. So now we need to generate the getter and setter now. Yes, we can create the getter and setter. So now we need to define the constructor. So right click, generate constructor. We need to select all arguments. So if a class contains parameterized constructor, the class should have a no args constructor. The same thing we can able to achieve with respect to project. So again here we need to create getter and setter. Getter and setter. Select all the field names. So now we can define the constructor now. Select all the field, all arguments constructor it is. So again when a class contains parameterized constructor, the class should have which one? No args constructor. Yes, we have developed entity classes perfectly. Now we need to create repository now. Again click on package. So package name is repository. So the first repository is so we need to create an interface, that is customer repository. That is the customer repository. It extends JPA repository. The JPA repository is accepting entity class as the parameter, which is our entity class customer. And what is the data type of the primary key? That is the integer. The same thing for one more repository we need to create, that is a project. It should be an interface. Set the interface. This is a project repository. The project repository extends JPA repository. The generic it accepts as a project entity, and the data type of the primary key, that is the integer. Yes, we have developed the entity class and as well as repository interfaces. Now we can go to main method. So our class Spring one-to-many application, which implements command line runner. This command line runner method contains an abstract method, that is run. So we need to implement that particular method. So for this particular method, we need to inject two repository. So what are the repository? At the rate AutoWire, private customer repository. So customer repo. Similar way, private project repository, project repo. So we need to provide annotation as AutoWired. Save this one. Now we need to create an object now. The first object is customer. Customer is equal to new customer of. So once after creating the customer, we need to provide customer dot set name, cname, that is called Purdue Pharma. That is one of the customer, and customer dot set description. So which description? It is this customer, the Purdue Pharma customer works mainly on PBM projects. PBM means pharmacy benefit management project. So we can just provide set description. Once after providing the description, now we need to create a project now. project 1 is equal to new project. So in this particular project 1 dot set name, project name, the project name is I invoice. The project 1 dot set description, this project provides invoice. This project provides creation of invoices. Similar way, we need to create one more project. Project 2 is equal to new project. So here project 2 dot set project name, project 2 dot set project name, we need to provide I validate. So the description is in this way. This project 2 dot set description, this project validates invoices. Again project 3 is equal to new project. So now here project 3 dot set name, dot set project 3. So here we have provided a wrong name, project, project, project. The set which one? Project name. The project name is I calculate, invoice calculate, something, anything. Project 3 dot set description, this project calculates the invoices. Calculates the invoices. Calculate the invoices. Yes, we have created one customer. The customer is Purdue Pharma, is having 3 projects. Okay, now we need to provide customer dot set. So instead of set, we need to make it as a set project. So instead of that one, we need to provide dot get projects dot add, because get projects is empty only. Get provides always returns an list. So we will say customer dot get projects, it returns a list. Currently the customer doesn't have any project, so we need to add the projects into this particular list. So get projects dot add, so we need to provide project 1. Similar way, customer dot get projects dot add, we need to add project 2. Customer dot get projects dot add project 3. So once after, because here the customer is Purdue Pharma. For this particular customer, we added 3 projects. So once after adding the 3 projects, we need to save the entity. Save it. How to save it means customer repo dot save. So we need to save customer. So as soon as if we can save the customer, since we are using cascade, so another entity also the same action will be applied. So now save this particular one. So now we need to run this particular project. So right click on this particular project, main method, just click on run. Once it is executed successfully, yes, we need to go to database. So now we need to select star from one to many dot tbl underscore customers. So we need to refresh this particular database. The table underscore customers is available. So a similar way, select star from one to many dot table underscore projects. So now if we can execute, one customer has associated with 3 projects. So here first we need to go to customer table, the customer ID, the customer name is Purdue Pharma, and description is Pharma customer works on mainly on PBM projects. It is created at, it is updated at. So now if you can go to table projects, there are 3 projects we have added. What are the projects? I invoice, I calculate, I validate, and I calculate. So for all projects, okay, associated with one customer. So here this customer ID is a primary key. In this project table, project ID is a primary key, but here customer underscore project underscore ID is the foreign key. For this particular column, it has applied foreign key constraint. So it indicates one project, one customer, which is the customer the customer Purdue Pharma as associated with the first project, second project, and third project. So this indicates one to many relationship. Thank you.